Hey friends, welcome to your week 24 foundations class. You will need the usual props today: a block, a ball. This time we'll need a band, so a TheraBand or a resistance cable band works fine. I don't know if we'll need a bolster or a pillow, but grab what you have and then we'll get started with our release work. Today we're gonna work on the inner thighs, our adductors. So come to lie down on your left hip. You can use a little towel roll underneath your left ear for comfort. All right, so laying down on our left side, we're gonna bring the ball really high, pretty much up into our groin, but between our inner thighs. And then knees are bent slightly, just kind of for balance and support. And from here, you could also use two balls, whatever you have, but we are going to kind of press our legs together and then bend and straighten your top right knee. Couple times, and then leave that still and then press and squeeze your thighs together, so you'll feel the ball kind of move, but you should feel your muscles pulsing into it, kind of like a little pulsing massage. And then scissor your right leg back and forth on top of your left, so bringing the knee back behind you and then in towards your chest. Maybe you go in little circles or up and down. Good, now bring your right toes back behind you and then think about squeezing the ball together and then lifting your inner left foot up towards the sky. So rotating through the left hip here. Perfect, now we're gonna move the ball down halfway and start by squeezing the ball together and then bending and straightening your top knee. And then just hold it still, take some squeezes in and out, and then slide your left leg on top of your right leg on top of your left. Maybe go in circles, maybe go side to side, up and down. And then bring your right toes behind you, lift your left foot up towards the sky a few times. Just hitting different parts of the muscle. And finally, we're gonna bring it down towards our knees. So at the very distal part of the muscle. Okay, bend and straighten top leg. Squeeze the ball back and forth. And then roll it around a little bit. Move your top leg on your bottom leg. Ooh. And then finally, right toe is behind you, pin that ball, and then bring your left foot up and down. Good, now we'll switch. Lay on your right side. Pillow can change underneath the right ear. Okay, we're gonna come up high towards the groin. And you kind of know where you're going, so I'm just gonna tell you when to switch the position of the ball, but you can bend and straighten, you can go side to side, whatever you felt like worked the best for you. You could also use your hand to move the ball around on the right inner thigh. Kind of an awkward and hard muscle group to target, but. All right, move that ball to the middle of the muscle, mid-thigh. And then finally move it down towards your knee. That's where I personally feel it most. I'm sure it depends on a lot of things, probably activities that you like to do, or just inherent tightness, or gripping. If you grip a lot in your pelvic floor and core, that probably leads to more tightness up here towards the groin. Couple more breaths to finish out. Roll out whatever you feel like you need to. All right. Perfect. Come on up when you're done. And we'll move into our back and posture and breathing exercise of the day, which will be rows today. So find a band, secure it onto something sturdy. I don't know if this is going to be sturdy enough. I switched rooms. Probably not. Okay, we're gonna try the door. All right, I moved to the door. Hopefully you can see me here. For these rows, you can come to sitting on your heels. Just place something cushiony underneath your knees. Or you could come to tall kneeling, standing on your shins, or you could do this in a single leg kind of lunge, or you could stand. All right, you're gonna grab one end of your band with each hand. And today we're gonna do a neutral grip, which means the palm is facing down. Now from here, I like to come to tall kneel. It helps me kind of get my posture aligned. So feel into your low back, feel into the front of your pelvis. Notice just where you naturally lie with your posture. We're probably tending to do a little bit more of this arch back now. So take a moment to bring your lower ribs towards your hip bones without excessively gripping those upper abs. So we want a little engagement of the glutes, a hugging in of the core from the bottom up. Okay, and then it's shoulders over hips, over knees. The point of a row is to work the muscles on the back body, and it's to help our posture. So especially once we get further on, or when we're feeding our babies, we tend to hunch over. So it's gonna be great that we work on strengthening the back body and opening the front body now. All right, so band in each hand, and then we're gonna bring our elbows down towards the sides of our waists. Think about squeezing your shoulder blades back and down together. Hold for a second, and then slowly release back out. You can grip the band harder. If you need a little more tension, you could also move further away. And then if you need less tension, create more slack or move closer to the anchor point. All right, so bringing elbows down towards our waist, rolling our shoulders back. And then take a big breath into the chest here, into the sides of the ribs. Exhale, engagement of the core as you straighten arms back out. Good. Inhale here. Exhale to row. And we're purposely going really slow with these reps. Inhale, elbows by the sides. And exhale, keep that nice posture as you straighten arms back out. So it's a 4 count breath. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, engage core. Pull elbows back, glutes are engaged. Inhale here to see if you can hold this posture and take a big breath into the chest. And exhale, slowly release back out. Good, keep going. You could do this with 2 breaths. You could totally speed it up if you want, once you get the hang of it. And rows can be done so many different ways. I said neutral grip. Neutral grip is palms facing each other. Sorry, I said palms down. So if you have been doing it with your palms facing down, go ahead and turn your palms to face each other. Sorry about that. You could also turn this into like a rear delt kind of raise, where you're bringing your elbows really high, or even your thumbs up overhead. Just know that there's a bunch of options for today. I like this basic one for us. And then if you want to switch up your foot placement, we can do a couple here. So bringing left foot in front. Good, exhale to row. Inhale to breathe with your elbows by your sides and your shoulder blades back. And exhale to bring back out. Good, couple reps here. Obviously, the lower you are to the ground, the more sturdy you are. But this one actually, since we're having a bigger base of support with the right knee and the left foot, this can feel more grounded than the tall kneeling. Good, and then switch legs. Set up your posture first. Keep left hip pointing forward. Pelvis is as neutral as you can right now. Everything is falling. Good. Finish up with one more rep. and then I'll turn you to face the front again. All right, for our core exercise, you're going to need either a block or a bigger, squishier ball, like one of these kids' balls. Block works great too. We're gonna do a bear lift with a knee squeeze. So put the ball in between your inner thighs, come into tabletop, hands and knees, shoulders stacked over wrists. Let's tuck our toes underneath us. All right, so first find your posture here, find that length through the spine. We naturally have a little bit of a sway, a lordosis in the low back. So that is fine, but we just wanna avoid excessive dumping of the belly right now. All right, from here, we lock our shoulder blades back. All right, from here, we're gonna take a big inhale, fill up 360 degrees. And on an exhale, those toes are tucked, squeeze the ball or block, and we're gonna lift our knees to hover off the mat. Good, inhale to lower knees. Big breath in through the rib cage. Exhale, tuck toes, squeeze ball, lift your knees to hover, and it's again a hugging of your core, a hugging of your baby from the bottom up. If you want to add a pelvic floor contraction with the core, you totally can, but don't feel like you have to. They kind of work in conjunction anyways. So big breath in. Exhale, squeeze, lift your knees. Good, inhale to release your knees. Your palms are pressing strong this whole time. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the ball. Lift your knees to a hover. Now that we have the hang of those, keep doing that. If you want, feel free to hold an extra breath in your hovering position. So inhale through the rib cage. Exhale, tuck toes. Lift your knees to a hover. Manage that pressure through your core and take an inhale here. Long through the back of the neck and the tailbone. Take another exhale. Good, inhale to release your knees. Exhale, we lift. This time we're gonna take 2 full breaths if you want it. Inhale. Exhale, see if your inhales can make their way through the back body instead of bulging out just through the belly. One more inhale. One more exhale from the bottom up. Inhale to release. Good. Take a breath to prepare, and we'll do that longer hold if you're with me. We'll do that one more time. But keep doing the 1 breath per lift if you'd like. All right, inhale to prepare. Exhale, tuck toes, squeeze ball. From the bottom up, manage that pressure in your core and lift. 2 full breaths here. Into the back of your sports bra. And the knees stay at that nice hover, just an inch or 2 off the mat. We can take a 3rd breath here if you'd like. Good, exhale to release. Perfect, all right, next is our pelvic floor move. We are going to do a modified single leg up the wall stretch. So find a wall, and we are going to face the left side, and we're scooting our pelvis as close as we can towards the wall. Our torso will be shooting out perpendicular to the wall. From here, you can grab a towel roll or a pillow for underneath your left ear. All right, so scooting the pelvis as close as we can be a little awkward, but just do your best. Right leg is gonna come straight up the wall, and left knee is bent with left foot planted on the wall. Okay, so in yoga, we do legs up the wall. Some people don't like laying on their bellies or on their backs right now, so we can turn it to the side. Now from here, this is where we're gonna work on relaxing that pelvic floor, especially on our in-breath. So not much to do here, not much to work on except for relaxing. I like to bring my right hand over across to my left shin, just to help me feel a little bit more balanced and anchored. Sometimes when we do these one-sided leg moves, it can help release if you have one tighter side of your pelvic floor, but we're focusing on breathing into the back pockets in particular. Breathe into your butt, basically. Good, and if you'd like to, we can roll onto our back and take a little figure four. Stamp your left foot onto the wall and then cross your right knee over top. You could gently press your right hand into your right knee. This is a stretch for the external rotators of the hip. Or the internal rotators, we're moving into external rotation. But focus on that pelvic floor, focus on that trampoline-like muscle, that diamond shape at the bottom of your pelvis. Good, now plant both feet and let your knees, walk your feet up a little bit, let them drop over to the left. So just finding little shifts in the pelvis and in the alignment of the muscles. Seeing if we can release any tension in the pelvic floor. And obviously stick with these stretches for longer if they are doing the job for you, or come revisit them. But just for the sake of the length of this class, we're going to switch sides now. So scooting the pelvis close to the wall again. This time we're turning and laying on our right side. Left leg goes straight up the wall. Right knee is bent, right foot is planted into the wall. You can do whatever you'd like with your arms. Big breaths in. And then the exhale is just soft. Don't force anything out, just let it go. You could place your hand at your pelvic floor and see if you feel just a gentle filling in of that space of your fingers on an inhale. Then an exhale, it slowly recedes back in. Good, we're gonna take our figure four, or you could stay here. If you want the figure four, put your right foot into the wall, cross your left knee over top of your right, and then a gentle press out and away of the left knee. Breathe into that left back pocket especially. Good, and then if you want it, walk both feet up a little bit higher and drop your knees over to the right. Now we're doing this more relaxation, release work of your hip rotators and your pelvic floor, because we are going to move into clamshells next. And if you have a really tight, especially back of the pelvic floor, and you're a glute clencher, this exercise might not be the best for you. One more breath here. So if that's the case, I would stick to glute bridges or hip thrusts, something where you're not really shortening those external rotators. But if you feel like you were able to release a little bit with those stretches and those breaths, then clamshells can be helpful. It's just you have to know if you're already super tight back there, then clenching and doing that motion more might not be super helpful. So listen to your body. Find your band. And we're gonna do a different kind of modified version of the clamshell where we bring, let's see, which side were we just on? Let's come down to our left side again. And we are going to place our feet on the wall actually. Instead of them just kind of hanging out in midair, we ground them into the wall, and this way we can push down to engage our glutes, and our hip flexors can be nice and relaxed here. So we can kind of find a better alignment of the pelvis, whereas if we were in space, a lot of times we arch through our back more, engage our hip flexors more. So feet are pressing down, knees are bent at 90 degrees. Now from here, let's bring our feet together. Check your posture. Make sure right hip is stacked over left. You can bring a little towel as a pillow if you want. Underneath the left ear. All right, now see your left waist. Notice that like a little critter could crawl underneath your left waist instead of, again, dumping down into the left with the belly button. So core is engaged, glutes are engaged by pressing down through that right foot, and then open your right knee up to the sky. And it doesn't have to be a huge motion here. Just a little flaring out of your right knee and back in again. And you will feel this different variation maybe a lot quicker than you would feel the other one, because we're taking away a lot of compensations here. If you'd like, you do have the option to add that band around your knees or just above your knees at your thighs. Okay, so if you added the band, recheck, have some space underneath the left waist, right hip is stacked on top of left, and then we're pushing our feet into the wall. Now a little lift of your right knee up and back down. And this is already burning for me. Good. So we're worried, or we're focused more on engaging the correct muscles as opposed to having the heaviest band or lifting your knee the highest. So check in every once in a while, make sure the front of the right hip is loose, the back body is pretty relaxed, but you feel that engagement in the glutes. So you can put your hand there for some feedback, pushing down through the foot and then lifting up through the right knee. Let's do 3 more. Good. When you're ready, you can switch sides. So I would take the band off first, just so you can get used to that motion, especially this different version of it. And maybe I'll face this way so you can see a different angle of the exercise. Hopefully you saw that one okay, but you never know. All right, so we're gonna lay on our right side now. Move my mat. Moving all over the place today. Okay, so on our right side, make your little pillow, and then feet press into the wall. From here, check your pelvis. So front of the right or left quad and left hip flexor are really, really squishy. My back body is pretty squishy. I'm stacking left hip on top of right, and then I'm engaging my right obliques a little bit by lifting up through the right side waist so that I have a little breathing room underneath here. As opposed to, I'll show you this. So dumping the belly button forward and down to the right and arching through the low back. So everything is stacked and engaged here. Good, we press our heels down into the wall, and then it's a little lift, little flaring out of your left knee up. Just a couple inches. Good, you can place your hand on your glute. Make sure it's working. Find your sacrum and just go laterally or to the outside of that. Now, if you want, you could add the band, but I think it's fine without it. Again, these are not huge ranges of motion, so. All right, if you added the band, recheck in with your pelvis, with your side waist, with your quad, and then push down through your feet, lift up through your left knee. Mine are burning. Push down through your feet, stack left hip over top of right, and then a little lift of your left knee up against that resistance. Let's do 3 more. Core is engaged here too. Holding you steady for one more. Good. All right. Release that, and then we just have our standing exercise next. I'm going to turn you again to the door because we're going to do a banded exercise. So find that setup again. All right, so we're at the wall with our band. If the band is coming from the left side, we are going to put our right leg in front. We're doing lunge rotations. We've done lunges with a press. We've done like a Pallof press. We're gonna add on to that a little bit. So left, the band is coming from the left. Our right leg is our lead leg. Band comes into our hands. Now we square our hips, left hip forward, right hip back a little bit. And from here, we're gonna take a rotation with the lunge. The arms stay out straight the whole time. What we're gonna do is when we lunge down, we're gonna open up to the right side. And then as we straighten back out, we're going to let the band carry our pelvis over to the left. Okay, so we bend our right knee, arms stay straight, band comes to the right. Good, and then straighten legs, band comes to the left. Okay, it's a little motion, there's a lot of balance involved too. Good. Exhale, you're gonna draw your ribs down, engage core, arms stay straight, and then we bend into our knees, rotate over to the right. Okay, with control, let that band carry you back to the left. Breathe in, breathe out, core is engaged, ribs down. We lower into our lunge and rotate to the right. Good. Any type of variation, modification that we've done before is great if you want to just stick with the presses. We also did those hip airplanes where we're stretching into the glutes like this, and you can do it without the toe support or with the toe support. Those are great as well. Okay, we're gonna do 3 more on this side. You could also inhale as you lunge so that you're breathing into the eccentric lengthening of those right glutes and rotators. So find what breath works for you. 3 more reps. It's not the heaviest weight in the world. We're really working on controlling this whole kinetic chain as we're moving. Last one, lunge down, rotate to the right. And then back up straight. All right, we're gonna switch legs. Shake out your legs if you need. Now left foot is coming in front, right leg is behind, the band is coming from the right side. All right, arms straight in front of you, they stay that way the whole time. Now, as we bend our knees, we are going to rotate to the left this time. And then as we straighten back up, we slowly control, no slingshotting, the band back through center. And you could add a little pelvic hip opening to the right if you'd like. All right, ribs down, core engaged. And then we lunge and rotate to the left. And then slowly lift back up. Bend your knees down, rotate to the left. Straighten it back up as you control through center. Again, you could play with inhaling on the rotation down. And then exhaling on the way up. Whatever works for you. Let's do 5 more reps. Whole body working here. Each rep, reset. Find those important positioning points and muscle contraction points and balance points. We have 3 more. So strong in this position. A lot of control instead of just kind of willy-nillying with our pelvis and overstretching our hip flexors or hamstrings. 1 more. This is why we balance yoga, which I love and adore, with some strengthening moves in these positions as well. All right, so that is our foundations class for today. Please revisit these moves again, either later this week or right now if you have time. And stick with these foundations classes. They're prepping you for a lot of good things. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.